G'day, welcome to Tech Savvy with Steve Hume. You don't know what you don't know. Today's video is about printing. Printers are very cheap these days, but it's the toner that's expensive. A printer is a very handy thing to have, but just be aware when you're buying them how much it's going to cost you in toner or cartridges. When looking for a printer, try to find one that can print just black and just use the black cartridge on its own. Easier said than done, but as I said, it's the toner that gets expensive. Once you have the printer set up, you want to make it the default printer on your computer. This means that when you go to print, it automatically brings up your printer. So if we click on the start menu or the control panel, here I have printers, and you can see here my default printer is the one with the tick. I don't use the other two, so I always want my brother printer to come up when I open my program. If I right click on the icon, see here I get set as default printer. That has now made this Acrobat PDF printer writer my default printer. I'm going to change my brother back to default, tick, and that is now, when I open up Word for instance, go to print, you can see here the brother printer is the default. It's the one that it brings up. You can always change. It's the one it brings up, so you don't have to think about it. The hand that I've got here underneath my printer, this is because I'm sharing my printer on the network so other computers can use the printer through my computer. If I right click on here again and go down to properties, I get all these different tabs. There are some of them you'll want to use, others you want to leave alone. So if we have here, we have general, so this tells me what my computer is doing at the moment, features, colors, it can't do double-sided, no stable, etc, etc, different papers. Sharing, so I've clicked this to share this printer, so any other printer, any other computer wants to come through my computer. Maybe it couldn't, maybe the printer drivers are too old for their computer, they can actually come through my computer and print through here. That's a different video. Ports, again, getting technical, don't touch anything in here, just tells me that my printer is plugged into this USB port. Advanced, again, leave alone unless you know what you're doing. If you've got some really fancy computer and printer, you may want to touch these, but for basic printing, leave alone. Same with color management, and then your about tab. Now if we go back here to the general tab, and what we want to do now, go down to printing preferences, and this is where you set your printer's default settings. So you see here I've got mine set to grayscale, A4, paper quality, or plain paper quality, normal. This is where you want to change your default, because it's not only going to save you time and going through and changing everything to what you do most, but it's also going to save you money because of this grayscale setting. So if I just go through these settings here, you can see I've got my media, plain paper, I've got a choice of other papers there, quality normal, fine, might get a little bit better, fast means that it will do it faster, but the quality won't be as good, so just stick to normal. Paper size A4, just be careful you don't have it set on letter, and that goes for your other programs as well, especially in things like Word. Always make sure it defaults to A4, because that's what we use in Australia, that's what they use in Europe. Now if you're in America listening to this, perhaps you want to set it on letter. It's US letter, we use different sizes, but especially in Australia and England, where I'm from, we use A4. Color mode, as you can see, it's set to grayscale, so that's why that's blanked out. Orientation, portrait. I imagine most of the things you're going to print out will be letters, forms, their portrait size, as opposed to landscape. That is landscape on its side, like when you're taking a landscape photograph, and portrait, have it that way when you're taking somebody's photo. There are other settings. You can put two of your prints onto one page for. You can have a play around with those, no problem at all. But set it to normal for your default. Advanced, this is where I've changed it to grayscale. It was on color. You can see now this is all color. I want it on grayscale. That is going to save me money, because when I click print, a lot of pages, like if I'm printing from the web, they'll have color on them, and they will print in color. Set it to grayscale, they'll all print in black, grey or white. That way you're saving money just using the black cartridge. Scaling off, fit to paper, all the other things you can mirror, reverse. You'll have different settings on different printers. Now whatever you do, don't click the default button. If you just watch, when I click it, it takes it back to the factory default settings. It's back to color again. So I will need to go back through and make that grayscale. Make sure it's still A4, plain paper, normal, all good. Okay. And then I can do a test print. Print test page, that will send a print to my printer, which does have color on it. So making sure it all comes out in grayscale, and we're all good to go. Right, so what that basically means now is, as you can see, I have got a Word open, and if I type something in Word and then go to print, properties, you see it's the brother, it was the default, and all the properties are exactly as they are in my printing preferences. It's the same thing, the same panel. However, if I want to change and I want to print something in color from Word, that's easy. Just go to my advanced setting, change it to color. There we go. It will now print in color. OK. Click OK, and I will get a color print. And that will keep printing in color until you change it, or you close Word. Not going to save that. You go back and you open up Word again, and once the page comes up and we go to print, properties, back to our default setting. Save your time, save your money. Well, I hope you found that useful. If you want to see more tech savvy videos, then go to steverhulme.com/tech savvy and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Steve R. Hume. And if you want to get in touch, then drop me a line at steverhulme@gmail.com.
Was ist los mit dir, mein Schatz?